The courtroom is quiet. Cameras are forbidden in the room, but whispers spread like fire. Kody Brown, whose reputation was built on sister wives, is finally trapped. His daughter has released a secret audio recording that may blow everything apart, betraying him but also revealing the wives, the wealth, and the secrets no one believed would ever see the light of day. What was reality TV is now real-life soap, and $2.1 million has gone missing. And tonight, we're going inside that soap. You won't believe who flipped on whom and how deep the betrayals ran. Stay with me to the end, because what you'll find out will make you wonder about everything you thought you knew about the Browns. Do you think Kody has it coming? Or do you think there is more to this tale? Let me know in the comments. I'll be tuning in. Picture a courtroom full of tension, the scent of lacquered wood, the creak of chairs as attorneys shuffle papers, the soft whispers of an anxious crowd. Now imagine Kody Brown, the self-proclaimed face of sister wives, seated rigidly at the defense table, jaws clenched, eyes darting anxiously toward the door. He is not here today as a husband or father. He's here today as a man accused, a man fighting to restore his reputation, and perhaps even his liberty. Across the aisle, the wives sit separately, Meri with her lips pressed tightly together, Christine with her arms crossed and eyes blazing with anger, Janelle shaking her head in shock, and Robyn with a tissue in hand, like it is her salvation. They are no longer together, not even closely. And the question on everyone's mind is straightforward. Who released the audio? And where is the $2.1 million that went missing? This isn't just a trial, it's a public unraveling. And the truth? It's uglier than anyone expected. The prosecutor rises, his voice calm but sharp. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he begins. You'll hear the words of Kody Brown, not from a witness, but from his own mouth. A secret audio, recorded by his own daughter, that reveals lies, manipulation, and money trails leading straight into shadows. Gasps circulate throughout the courtroom. Kody's daughter, though not named for legal reasons, is at the epicenter of this maelstrom. In the leaked tape, she purportedly overheard her father talking about moving funds that had been part of the family trust, money intended to bring stability to all wives and children. Rather than that, the funds disappeared. What if the very one who was supposed to save the family was its architect of destruction? In his chair, saying something under his breath to his lawyer, Robyn moves toward him, her hand sweeping over his arm in a weak attempt at consolation. But it's too late. The courts and the world's eyes are on him. Christine, in the gallery, can't contain herself. She mutters viciously to Janelle, "This is just what I was warning everybody about. He's been deceiving us for years." Janelle says nothing, but her silence is more telling than words. The wives used to struggle in the privacy of their homes. Now their grudges are on display. Midway through tape proceedings, the judge allows the tape to be played. The crackle of poor audio fills the room, and suddenly Kody's voice emerges, low, rushed, unmistakable. "We'll move the money quietly." Robyn knows the steps. They won't notice until it's too late. A shocked silence fills the courtroom. Robyn's head falls immediately, her tears flowing harder. Now, Christine exclaims, "I knew it." And Meri? She sits straight ahead, stone-faced, unreadable, as if this had been the moment she'd known all along. Kody stands up yelling, "That tape is doctored. It's fabricated. I never spoke those words. This is my daughter creating havoc on me." His voice shatters, half anger, half desperation. But if the tape was fabricated, why did Robyn's response contain so much guilt? The judge slams the gavel, ordering silence. But the frenzy has already been let loose. The wives are murmuring, the crowd humming, reporters writing frantically in their notebooks. Then the prosecutor pours more fuel on the fire. "This isn't the only recording," he says. "There are others." The words hang in the air like a death sentence. More recordings, more secrets. The courtroom erupts with noise once again. It is then, at that exact moment, that Meri leans forward, her voice low but incisive. He thought he was untouchable. What happens when the man who commands every narrative can no longer command his own? Stay with me, because the next surprise throws everything into chaos. Hours creep by, each witness burrowing deeper into the cracks of the Brown family. Christine recounts financial red flags she noticed years earlier. Janelle, caught between loyalty and truth, confesses she wondered at missing funds but never had the courage to push too far. Robyn cries, insisting she only followed instructions. And Kody, he sits there, visibly disintegrating, his erstwhile commanding presence diminishing with each new discovery. The judge takes a short recess, and that is when the fireworks begin. In the hall, cameras catch Christine walking out, declaring, "He betrayed all of us. Not just me, not just the kids, everyone." When raw reality is caught on camera in real time, there is no script to hide behind. As the session nears its end, the prosecutor drops one final bombshell for the day. Tomorrow we'll present evidence tracing a portion of the missing $2.1 million to a private account connected to Robyn Brown. The wives gasp audibly. Robyn nearly collapses, clutching the bench to steady herself. And Kody? He looks at her with shock, betrayal flashing across his face for the first time. The whole courtroom is abuzz. If Robyn was involved, then the coalition Kody believed he had. And just like that, the courtroom isn't just about Kody anymore. It's about what else was part of the deal. Was Robyn his co-conspirator, or another victim of his antics? That answer comes next. The next day, the courthouse is ringed by cameras. Journalists yell questions, strobes blind the wives as they enter the building, and tension becomes more celebrity scandal than family feud. But that's just what this has turned into. A public autopsy of the Brown family. Within, the air is thickened from the previous day. Yesterday the leaked audio turned the court on its head. Today the prosecution heralds something greater. Evidence that the missing $2.1 million did not disappear into nothingness. It was transferred, traced and linked to someone incredibly close to Kody. And the wives? They know that if the name Robyn comes up again, it will destroy what little cohesion is left. For Christine, it's vindication. For Janelle, it's betrayal on top of heartache. For Meri, it's proof of all she suspected, but remained quiet about. And for Robyn, this could be the start of her total breakdown. This isn't about lost money anymore. This is about loyalty, deception, and the type of betrayal you can never recover from. And within the time this session concludes, one person in that courtroom won't be walking out the same. The prosecutor wastes no time. He holds up a thick folder, his tone steady but sharp. "Your Honor, we've obtained bank records showing a direct transfer of funds from the Brown Family Trust to an account under the name RB Holdings. Those initials belong to Robyn Brown." Gasps once again fill the courtroom. Robyn shakes her head violently, mouthing, "No, no, no," as she weeps. Kody draws back from her, his face ashen, his eyes narrowing as if he is questioning her for the first time. Christine smirks, leaning back in her chair, while Meri presses her lips tightly together, refusing to be satisfied, but obviously not surprised. Janelle appears shattered, between disbelief and resignation. When trust becomes evidence, all relationships start to fall apart. The defense lawyer jumps up. "Objection, there is no evidence that my client was aware of these transfers. The account might have the same initials, but that does not make it Robyn Brown's account." The prosecutor answers with a deadly calm. "Then maybe Mrs. Brown would like to tell us why her name is on the withdrawal slips." The courtroom erupts once more. Robyn cries harder, shaking her head. "I did not know what I was signing. Kody said it was for bills, for expenses. He said it was to keep us afloat." Her voice breaks, desperate, begging the jury, begging anyone who will listen. But her tears do not wash away the evidence. Halfway through testimony, Christine is summoned to the stand. She struts confidently, her chin up high, her gaze glued on Kody. Her voice is steady, unshakable. "He was playing games with us all those years. When money would go missing, he'd tell us it was for the family, for the children. But I knew something wasn't right. I left him because I couldn't trust him anymore. And this proves I was right." Kody growls under his breath. "Lies, everything lies." Christine spins, her eyes blazing at him across the room. "You lied to us all, Kody. And now your own daughter comes out with the truth. When those nearest you offer evidence against you, it is no longer a trial. It is an execution of trust." The judge slams the gavel, calling for order. But the damage is complete. The jury has witnessed the dynamic wife against husband, cohesiveness destroyed, betrayal fresh and in their faces. Now the prosecution throws in another bombshell. A timeline establishing that a mere week before Christine publicly declared that she and Kody were breaking up, $750,000 went missing from the trust. Christine addresses the jury, her tone biting, That was when I knew I had to get out. I wasn't losing my marriage, I was losing security for my kids. The members of the jury changed seats uncomfortably, the seriousness of her words registering. What does it do to a person when betrayal is not just psychological, but economic? When love is quantified in dollars taken and promises broken? Bear with me, because the next twist is even nastier. Meanwhile, back at the defense table, Kody's facade starts to crumble. His cheeks turn red, his hands form fists, and at one point he bangs the table, bellowing, "They're all against me. This is a witch hunt." The judge warns him to control himself, but his outburst has already left an impression. He looks less like a man defending himself and more like a man cornered, unraveling. Robyn leans forward, whispering, "Kody, stop. You're making it worse." But he pulls away from her, refusing to meet her eyes. The women in the courtroom exchange glances. This is the man they used to trust, now revealing his temper for the entire world to witness. When a man loses his temper in court, he's already lost control of the narrative. Later, Janelle is brought in to testify. Her voice is quieter, more tentative than Christine's, but her message is strong. "I wanted to believe in him. I wanted to believe in our family. But when money began to disappear, I couldn't just look the other way. I asked questions, and each time I received excuses. I remained silent because I thought it was for the greater good. But silence made me complicit." Her candor slices deep, the sort of candor that wounds not just Kody, but the whole court. Secrets can get by in darkness, but in court, in the light they perish. And the next item of testimony is going to kill what little defense is left for Kody. The prosecutor places another excerpt from the taped leaks. This one is briefer, crisper, and killing. Kody's voice, "Robyn's account is safe. No one will trace it. The others don't need to know. If it comes out, we'll deny everything." The room falls into stunned silence. Robyn's sobs turn into wails. Kody slams his fist again, shouting, "That's taken out of context." But the jury has heard it. The wives have heard it. And nothing can erase those words. Once your own voice convicts you, there's no one left to blame but yourself. As court adjourns for the day, Christine storms past reporters, declaring, "Justice is coming." Janelle follows, her face pale but resolute. Meri remains silent, slipping away quietly, but her silence speaks volumes. Robyn, though, breaks down in sobs on the courthouse steps, wailing, I didn't know what he was doing." The cameras flash, the microphones invade, and the world witnesses the so-called favorite wife, disintegrating before its eyes. And Kody, he hides out at home, unwilling to confront the camera. The crowd outside is abuzz with questions. Is Robyn really innocent, or was she Kody's co-conspirator? Because tomorrow the daughter who released the audio will testify. And when she testifies, it won't simply lay bare the money. It will lay bare the family like never before. The courtroom is quiet, all eyes focused on the door. The chatter isn't about Kody or Robyn anymore. Today it's for the daughter. The girl who had the nerve to secretly record her father. The girl who chose to leak that recording. And now the girl who will encounter him in public court. As she enters, it is silent. Nobody stirs. Nobody inhales. She does not glance at the cameras. She does not even glance at her father. Rather, she proceeds directly to the witness stand, her shoulders taut, her face wan, but her eyes resolute. The judge administers the oath of office, and the room seems to crack open. On one side of the divide is the father, the man who used to say that he loved and cared for his family. Opposite him, his daughter, waiting to bring him to shame before the whole world. And then what she has to say will rock this trial to its foundation. The prosecutor steps forward, his tone more gentle than with other witnesses. "Tell us why you decided to record your father." She pauses, her voice shaking initially. "Because nobody listened to me. Whenever I attempted to speak the truth about what he was doing with the funds, people said I was lying or fabricating. I knew if I didn't record it, he would continue to get away with it." Kody glares at her, his expression twisted in rage. "How could you do this to me? To our family?" He sneers, but the judge thunders the gavel. "Mr. Brown, get hold of yourself." The daughter does not blink. She finally faces him, her voice firm now. "Because you ceased being a father when you began lying to everyone. When a kid goes against blood for truth, the pain of betrayal is worse than any proof." The prosecutor plays another section of the tape, this one with Kody's voice on it, but also Robyn. On the recording, Robyn says hesitantly, "Are you sure this is safe?" And Kody responds, "Don't worry, nobody's going to find out. They'll believe anything I tell them." Gasps circulate through the courtroom once more. Robyn shakes her head wildly, shouting out, "I didn't know. I thought he was referring to something else." Her denial rings out as desperation, but the harm is already entrenched. Christine leans in, her voice sounding just loud enough for those around her to hear. "This is it. This is the truth we've been waiting for." The defense lawyer attempts to make holes in the daughter's evidence. "Isn't it true you were upset with your dad? That you taped him out of spite?" But she doesn't budge. "I was upset, yes. But I was also frightened. Frightened for my brothers, frightened for my moms. I didn't want us to have nothing. While he faked everything was all right on television." Her words hurt, because they strike at the heart of the Brown family's reputation. People watched smiles, dinner with the family, and togetherness for all those years. Now the fissures are gaping, and the reality off camera is irrefutable. When the facade of family togetherness breaks, the world notices the cracks that always existed. The courtroom weighs heavier. With every sentence, the jury inclines forward, transfixed. Even the judge appears disturbed, his eyes narrowing as he listens intently. Christine dabs at tears. Meri remains stoic, her silence more powerful than any rage. Janelle, on the other hand, openly cries, burying her face in her hands. And Robyn, she can hardly get air. Every sentence from the daughter is another blade, cutting through whatever defense Kody believed he still possessed. What if the daughter, who was supposed to remain quiet, becomes the voice that screams the loudest in the courtroom? Stick with me, because her next secret will leave everyone speechless. The prosecutor asks, "Did your father ever tell you what he planned to do with the money?" She nods, swallowing. "Yes, he said he was shielding it. That if the family dissolved, he'd have to ensure Robyn and her children were provided for first. He said the others didn't count as much because they weren't loyal." The words fall like a bomb. Christine releases a bitter laugh. Janelle shakes her head in shock. Meri closes her eyes, one tear rolling down her face. And Robyn? She crumples, sobbing without restraint. The courtroom witnesses the so-called favorite wife being exposed as the focal point of Kody's betrayal. Favoritism in love hurts, but favoritism and betrayal breaks everything. Kody leaps to his feet, indicating his daughter. "You're distorting everything. You don't know what I said." His words ring in the courtroom, but they do nothing to make him less desperate. The judge cautions him once more, but the jury already has seen the image. A father foaming with anger at his daughter, with she standing serene and unshakable in reality. The daughter goes on, her own voice unwavering. "You warned me not to trust anyone. You said if the truth came out, the family would disintegrate. Well, maybe it did need to." Her words linger in the air like a hammer swing. Every now and then, the last one you'd expect to burn the house down is the one with the matchbook. And here flames are rising high. The prosecutor next produces a fresh bit of evidence: text messages between Kody and his daughter. On the screen, the jury reads them. Kody, erase the recording. "You don't know what you've done." "Daughter, I'm not erasing anything. They have a right to know." "Kody, if you do this, you're dead to me." Gasps resound through the courtroom once again. Kody hides his face in his hands, but too late. The jury has heard his threats in writing. Retention line. When a father disowns his child in writing, the jury doesn't have to use its imagination for the truth. It's right there. The daughter's testimony is left in silence. She leaves the stand without ever glancing at her father's face again. Christine takes her hand and touches it as she walks by. Janelle gives her a slight nod of admiration. Even Meri, until now stoic, mouths, "Thank you." But Robyn can only gaze at the floor, her tears ringing out in the room. And Kody, he just sits there, shattered, angry, and trapped. For the first time, he doesn't appear to be the head of the family. He appears to be a man who's lost his world. But just when things appear to have hit rock bottom, the prosecution has one more surprise. And it isn't family. It is a person who managed the Browns' money, and what they have to share will turn this trial around yet again. The courtroom was quiet, but the atmosphere was more sonorous than thunder. Kody Brown, who was previously the assertive head of a polygamous dynasty, now trembled as the prosecution moved to play the most incriminating piece of evidence so far: the entire cut of the leaked audio, which had been recorded by his own daughter. The wives sat forward, pale faces, as if preparing for a reality they weren't prepared to confront. The judge's gavel rang out, freezing the moment. This was no longer about losing millions. This was about betrayal, power, and a family ripped asunder in the eyes of the world. And the next words on that recording could ruin Kody's life forever. Before I proceed, ask yourself this: if your own kids spilled secrets against you in a trial court, would it feel like betrayal or justice? Let me know in the comments below. The tape started to play. A scratch of static, then Kody's unmistakable voice filled the room. He was pacing, agitated, and talking to someone whose voice had been edited out. They'll never see the sacrifices I've made. If I need to shift the money around, then so be it. I created this family. I should have control. Robyn does get it. The others never did. The courtroom was in shock. Christine's eyes were closed, a single tear falling down her face. Janelle was writing frantically, as if every word was the confirmation she dreaded. Meri was shaking her head, unable to believe what she was hearing, while Robyn was seated, frozen, torn between loyalty and guilt. Then came the line that destroyed it all. If the wives find out about the 2.1 million, it's over. They'll think it's theirs, but it's mine. All mine. The jurors' expressions changed in a split second. Horror, revulsion, outrage. His own words had betrayed him more conclusively than any witness could have testified. But what was to follow was even more shocking, because the tape didn't stop there. The sound of the recording went on, this time with the barely audible voice of the daughter who'd recorded him in secret. "Dad, this isn't right. You can't just take it." Kody's voice turned mean, sinister. "You don't know anything about loyalty. If you say anything, you'll destroy everything. Do you think Christine, Janelle, or Meri care about you? They're just after my money. Keep this a secret, or you'll be sorry." A ripple of whispers swept through the courtroom. The prosecutor stopped the tape. Gasps filled the air. The jury now saw Kody not only as greedy, but a father who would intimidate his own child in order to protect his empire. The defense lawyer rushed to object, asserting the recording was tampered with, but the judge ruled against it. The wives sat rigid, rage blazing in their eyes. Janelle broke her silence at last, whispering loudly enough for reporters to hear, "He's finished." But Kody was far from finished fighting. He stood insisting on testifying. His lawyer attempted to silence him, but pride drove his defiance. He mounted the stand, his face flushed with anger. "I'm not a thief. That money was never theirs. Do you think raising 18 children is free? Do you think I didn't bleed for this family? They call it betrayal. I call it survival." His words cracked, ringing out across the room. For an instant the jury sat stunned, caught between sympathy and anger. But then Christine stood up, unable to remain silent any longer. "Kody," she spoke, shaking yet firm, "we also bled. We gave you our allegiance, our years, our children. And you pay us back with lies and threats? No amount of money can mend what you've done." The courtroom broke out. Reporters wrote feverishly. Cameras flashed. The wives were no longer quiet onlookers. They were witnesses, warriors ready to stand up against him. But just when it appeared the trial was reaching its peak, the prosecutor pulled out one final card, a second tape no one knew he had. The prosecutor held up a flash drive. "Your Honor, this new evidence was handed over this morning." Another tape, same source. Kody's face lost color. His daughter had taped more than one conversation, and if the first tape shook the court, the second would bury him. The judge permitted it. The recording played. This time Kody's voice was lower, colder, more menacing. "Robyn, I'm only trusting you. We'll take what's ours when the time is right, and leave the rest behind. Christine, Janelle, and Meri, don't get a thing. Let them burn." Robyn had her hand over her mouth, appalled. The courtroom erupted in pandemonium. The wives' anger turned to devastation, and sympathy for the jury utterly vanished. Kody hadn't been greedy. He'd schemed betrayal with his final faithful wife. The judge slammed the gavel for order. But it was too late. Kody scanned the room, seeing the reality: all his allies were lost. His wives stood against him. His daughter had revealed his secrets, and the minds of the jury were closed. But not before the day was over. The judge requested a recess, leaving one last ruling for tomorrow: whether Kody would be charged with criminal fraud and embezzlement, or if the case would become a civil war over the missing $2.1 million. With the courtroom now emptying, the whispers began to circulate. Would Kody Brown be walking out a free man? Or would the next gavel crash forever seal his destiny? The last day of Kody Brown's trial dawned on gray skies. as if the heavens themselves were holding judgment in suspension. People massed outside the courthouse, clutching signs, taking photographs, chanting, "For justice, for mercy." They chanted back and forth at each other. Inside, anxiety coiled around walls like chains. Everyone knew today was it. No further delays, no further excuses. Today Kody Brown would discover if his kingdom was founded upon honor or deceit. The wives sat collectively on the front row for the first time in years. Christine, Janelle, and Meri together, with Robyn sitting alone, her face ashen and inscrutable. Reporters were whispering, "This is history in the making." The jury had returned the night before, and as they walked in, the gravity of their decision seemed to muffle even the buzz of cameras. And then arrived the words that could not be halted. Words that would be heard throughout Sister Wives history for eternity. But first, let me tell you what happened. Do you think Kody should go to prison for what he did? Or is his family's betrayal punishment enough? Share your thoughts below, because the jury's verdict stunned even those closest to him. The judge summoned court to adjourn. Kody sat rigid, fists locked, his glance shooting towards the jury. The foreperson stood up, the slip of paper with his destiny in hand. "We, the jury, find the defendant, Kody Brown." The delay hung like a blade. "Guilty of fraudulent concealment and misappropriation of funds." The courtroom sighed. Some of the reporters jumped up, writing wildly. Christine clutched Janelle's hand, tears of relief streaming down her face. Meri let out a sharp breath, as if a weight had finally been released. Robyn hid her face in her hands, shaking. Kody's jaw fell. "No, no, this can't be happening." He banged his fist on the table. "I gave everything to this family. Everything." The judge's gavel came down hard. "Order, Mr. Brown, calm down." But the court wasn't finished. The foreperson went on. "Also, we suggest restitution of $2.1 million to the plaintiffs, Christine, Janelle, and Meri Brown." The wives had prevailed. The empire had crumbled. But just when the courtroom believed it was finished, the judge dropped an unexpected twist. "Considering the facts of this case," the judge stated firmly, "the court also has to look at the possibility of criminal prosecution for obstruction and witness intimidation, specifically your daughter." The gallery erupted in stunned gasps. Kody's face went white. His daughter, the tapes leaker, now controlled whether or not her father would be released or sent to prison. Camera lenses zoomed in on her tear-stained face as she sat subdued in the gallery, holding her mother's hand. "Would the witness like to testify?" the judge inquired. Everyone's eyes were on her. She stood up slowly. Her voice was shaking but getting stronger with each sentence. "My father wasn't only secreting money, he was secreting the truth. He intimidated me into keeping quiet, but I won't keep quiet any longer. He must be made accountable for everything." The silence following her statement was thicker than thunder. Kody stood, panicked. "Sweetheart, please. I was doing it to protect us. You have no idea what this world does. I'm your dad. How could you do this to me?" She looked back at him, tears on her cheeks. "No, Dad, how could you do this to us?" The courtroom erupted into whispers. The prosecution nodded gravely. The judge rapped the gavel. "We will set sentencing and additional hearings to ascertain criminal liability." It was all over. Kody had lost more than money. He'd lost his family, his reputation, and the last vestige of control. But the drama did not end within the courtroom. What unfolded outside would spark flames across the globe. As Kody was led away by security, people mobbed him. Journalists yelled questions, microphones thrust in all directions. "Kody, do you have a statement? Did Robyn assist you? Are the other wives suing?" Kody's face contorted in anger. "This is a witch hunt. They made my children turn on me. None of them would make it without me. Not one." Police shoved him toward the waiting car as protesters shouted, "Justice for the wives." Some shouted, "Free Kody." Anarchy reigned on the courthouse steps. Christine, Janelle, and Meri appeared arm in arm. Flashing cameras captured their response as they issued a unified statement. "This isn't about revenge," Christine stated sternly. "This is about truth. Families deserve honesty, women deserve respect, and children deserve protection." Janelle added, "We stood together when it mattered most. That's the real victory." Robyn, however, slipped out quietly, refusing to comment. Rumors swirled immediately. Was she cooperating with investigators? Or was she planning her own defense? Inside the courthouse, Kody's daughter sat silently, her tears finally falling. Reporters captured the moment, dubbing her the voice of truth. Social media exploded. Fans of Sister Wives trended hashtags like #justice for the wives and #Kody exposed. The trial was done, but the drama was hardly over. TLC executives issued a short statement. We are considering the future of the Sister Wives franchise in light of recent events. While Kody sat solitary in his holding cell, head in hands, the question hung, would he serve the next few years in prison, or would some other secret, some other betrayal, surface before the gavel came down one final time?